Hey there, ladies. It's Krista Smith from Activate Her Awesome, back at you today with another tutorial. This time I'm talking about Instagram stories. This is one of the questions I get the most. What are Instagram stories? Where are they? How do I find them? How do I use them? And how can I use them to help me in my business? So I wanted to start and give you a very 101 version of what Instagram stories are, and that's the purpose of today's video. Let's start at the very beginning. What is an Instagram story? Instagram stories are one of the ways in which Instagram allows you to share photos and video with your followers. So the traditional way that you're very used to sharing your photos and video is through your Instagram feed. So it's by using the little button in the center, the plus button, to take a photo and take this beautiful picture of my mother and then create next and write your caption and then share that with your audience. There is another way, actually there's several ways, but today's way that I'm going to be talking about sharing video or photos with your audience is in your Instagram stories. And I want to talk about why they're different first. So Instagram stories only last 24 hours. So when you post a photo or if you post a video, that photo or video is only going to be live on your Instagram story for 24 hours and then it disappears. There are ways to save that video or photo in what's called an Instagram highlight. I'm going to do a whole video on Instagram highlights. So if you want to get access to that too, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you'll get that in your inbox as soon as it goes live. Stories are only live for 24 hours. And there's a couple of unique things about Instagram stories. So like if you're sharing a video on your feed and Instagram limits you to sharing only a minute worth of video at a time, Instagram stories work the same way, only they work in what are called 15-second story clips. So you have 15 seconds to share a photo or 15 seconds of video that it will let you publish at a time before it moves to the next story. So stories are made up of the sum of all the 15-second clips you share over a period of 24 hours. The reason that I like stories personally is because I get to be a little bit more messy, I get to be a little bit more spontaneous, and I get to show my audience the real me. So I guess the thing is a lot of people put a lot of value in making their feed look a certain way, meaning when you click on their profile and you go to their grid, it looks a certain way. You can see that I'm using a checkerboard pattern for my feed, and very transparently, that is simply because I don't like to see a picture of me in every single post. I like to break it up and bring in a little bit something different content, and I like to bring in the colors of my brand. This is the way that I accomplish this. There are lots of ways to do that. So what I find is Instagram stories give me more of a license to just show up in the moment. I rarely record video and upload it to my Instagram stories. Everything that I do, I'm doing it live. And there's a couple of reasons that I do it that way. The first one is that sometimes if I record a video and I'm over a minute, guess what happens when I upload it to my Instagram story? Instagram cuts it off and I don't get the full minute, or the story gets cut off and then I have to go back and re-record anyway. So the easiest way to get around that is to do it live and in the moment, and that's what Instagram wants you to do. Stories are meant to be spontaneous. They're meant to give glimpses into what happens to you in a 24-hour period. Their objective is to give your audience a deeper sense and get to know the person behind the brand. So now that we have talked about how long they last, what the differences are between a regular post that you're used to seeing in your feed and an Instagram story, let's talk about where they're at. So you access them differently from where you access your feed. When you open Instagram, you'll notice at the top of your feed, if you haven't before, are all kinds of circle icons. And if you swipe to the right, you'll see that there are oodles and oodles and oodles of these. Each of these icons are representative of one of the people that you're following or one of the brands that you're following, and they have their username under their profile picture. So you can access any of these simply by clicking on one of the people that you follow. So click on the profile picture. I'm going to click on my friend Marie, and up comes her story. Now, here's what I want to say. There are ways to navigate inside of stories. If you hold down, like I'm doing right now, I am pausing on the story so that I could read the post. If I go back to the one previous to it, I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So here's the 15 seconds that you get. And let's say that you go to the next one, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get to read it all. If you tap on the left side of your screen, anywhere on the left photo, on the left side of the photo, you're going to be able to go back a story or back a slide. And then if you want to read that, to pause on any photo or video inside of your stories, all you have to do is hold your finger down anywhere on the photo and it will pause it. If you want to advance to the next slide, all you need to do is tap on the right side of the photo. So right side advances, left side goes back, and if you want to pause, you hold it over the center. That's basically how you navigate these. And in this particular instance, we have a lot of images showing up. And you'll see that there's all kinds of little GIFs. So we can see these are stickers. These are examples of exactly what I'm going to show you in the next video of this series, showing you how to create some engagement or interest in your stories. And there's all kinds of ways to do this. I also have already got a tutorial showing you how to make your own custom stickers. If you're interested in that, it's already on my YouTube channel, so check that out. I would encourage you to take some time and to go up into your Instagram stories and start on the left. The way that it will work is that if there's currently anybody who's going live, they show up first. So right now you can see I have 2 people who are live right now. And if I clicked on either of those, I could tap into their live feed. And then what shows up after that are the people that you are following. Instagram does kind of prioritize it a little bit in that they'll show you the people who you typically engage with the most first. But if you swipe to the right, you're pretty much going to be able to find anybody's Instagram story. Now, if you're not seeing someone and you want to find them, one thing that you can do is you can actually use the search bar. So let's just use the search bar, and I'm going to look here. I'm going to look for Earth Goddess Shop. So let's just see, I know that they have a story because around their profile picture on the upper left, there is a gradient, and that tells me that there is a story live there. So if I click on this, I can see they have a couple of things in their story. So it's another way that you can go check someone out to see what their story is. Now, let's just say that I want to check out someone else. This is my friend Moya, and I can see right away that Moya does not have any stories because there is not a band around her photo. So that is the major way in which you can access them. I would encourage you, if you've never really played with stories before, to just go in and start to watch to see how people are using them in your world. It will really help give you a sense of exactly how much is possible. And now I want to show you a little bit more about how you're going to use these as a follower. So I'm going to go into, let's go into this particular one here. So let's say that I really, really, really loved this story. So I have my finger on this so that it is pausing it. There is this great feature inside of your stories called Instagram Direct. And it is the internal message system that works in Instagram. And it shows up, I'm going to go back and click to the one before, at the bottom down here. See where it says send message? If I click in send message, this is a couple of ways that I can get to know the people that I'm following and develop relationships with them. So I can send them what are called quick reactions. These are basically emojis. I can tap any of these and it will automatically send. So for this one, for an example, I'm just going to hit the clap emoji, and that sends that to this particular person that I am following. I can also, if I go into that send message option, instead of quick reactions, I can actually type in a message. And then I can press send. Now I'm not going to do this because I don't want to send a message to this person, but let's say that I did that, okay? Then your question is, okay, that's great, I love it, but where are these going to show up? So you're going to get a notification if someone has sent you back a message. In the upper right, you can see that there is a red circle with the number 6 on it, and there's a little airplane. That means I have 6 unread messages in there, and that is my Instagram Direct. So if I click on Instagram Direct, you can see I have messages in here, and I can respond to any of them just by going in and sending a little message. So here is a message from my friend Lauren, and let's say I want her to know that I've seen this last message that she sent me. All I need to do is double tap on the message itself, and it gives her a heart and lets her know that I've seen it. So that is one great feature inside of Instagram Direct. And you know, here's what I'd love to say about Instagram Stories and that send message feature. TechCrunch reported in 2019 that as many as, you ready for this? 1 in 5 Instagram stories receives a direct reply. Meaning that if you're showing up in your stories, you have a chance upwards of 1 in 5 of people who are following you sending you either a reaction or a quick message. What an amazing opportunity for you to get instant access to connect with your audience, to learn more about them, and to see how you can help them. So that is probably the number one reason why I use stories, because I do get those kind of reactions and I do spend time in my direct messages getting back to people, and that translates into clients or people who are ready to work with me. So now that we know the ins and outs of how it works, we know how the direct messages work and how you can use those to start to develop relationships with the people that you're following, now it's time to figure out how to start posting yourself so that you can get those direct messages coming back to you. So you want to engage your followers. So let's start with the basics. You're going to scroll all the way over to the left-hand side if you're not already, and that's where your story resides. So in order to activate your story, all you're going to do is you're going to click on your picture that says your story. And I already have a photo here that I took earlier, but let's just go ahead and delete this one. And I am going to add another one. So now I have no story there, and I'm just going to hit that little picture again with the plus sign. And here is the same kind of version of what I showed earlier. And I am just going to hit the circle in the center, and that is going to take a picture. And if I want to post this, all I need to do is hit send to, and at the top it says share to story, and I would just click share. I'm going to go back and I'm going to not share this. So all I did was hit the X on the upper left. And let's say I wanted to add a filter over this story. This is one feature I'm going to show you really quickly. On the right hand side, there's that little smiley face with the little 2 stars. If I click that, what happens is all kinds of crazy filters come up. And you can use these. These are fun ways to kind of show people different things. I'm just going to go back to the doodle heart one. And let's just say I take, maybe what I want to do instead of doing a photo of this is I want to do video. So how I would do video is that circle in the center, I'm going to hold it. And I'm going to hold it down, and you're going to see what's going to happen at 15 seconds. Because at 15 seconds, what's going to happen is I'm going to see that I've already gone through one slide. And then that tells me that I only have 3 more 15-second opportunities left. Okay, so why is this good? Well, this is good because if you are sharing a story and you're talking yourself and you have the camera pointed at yourself, it's always good to know when you're getting close to that 4 mark so you don't get cut off. Because what happens is after a minute, you have to post the ones that you have, and then you can go back and you can share more. So here's what's important to know. It's important to know that Instagram will cut you off after those 4 15-second clips. So I always like to kind of keep an eye on those, because when you're recording a video, let's say of yourself talking and you have the camera pointed at you, it's nice to know when you're coming up to that 60-second mark, and you can gauge that by looking at those little clips that show as you're recording video. Now here's another tip that I want to show you that I use quite a bit. Let's just turn off these. So on the bottom, there's some different options. We have boomerang. If we click that, what this does is it creates that little boomerang thing that you've wanted to use before. If you didn't know how they were used, let's say you just gotta go click the boomerang and you just move it. Right? There's a boomerang. Let's see the other options. We have super zoom. So if we click super zoom, it zooms right in. And again, you can share any of these. Let's say focus. This focuses on one particular part and blurs out the rest. Right? You can see how it focused just on that particular part. So that's focus, and there's lots of different ones. You can also do tilt shift, which gives it a different way. So it's just a different way of focusing. And the final one, which I use quite a bit, is hands-free. So what this does is it enables you to just press the button once, and then you can just keep talking. So you can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and it's going to record all of those clips, and it's going to record all those clips up to 1 minute. Those are the ones that I use the most every single time. And then when you want to share, all you do is you click send to and share to your story, which is going to be at the very top. Or automatically on the bottom left, you can just click your story and it automatically will add it there as well. And then it's uploaded. Sometimes when you're out, it takes a few seconds to upload. You can see that it's not quite uploaded yet, and now it appears that it is. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this because I don't want it here right now. That's it, you guys. That is how you use Instagram stories. In the next video in the series, I'm going to go into some really cool features that make your stories more engaging. That if you spend some time in Instagram stories, you'll start to see all these really cool things and you'll wonder how they're done. And I am going to demystify all this tech for you and make it super duper easy. So make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already so that you get notified as soon as I post a new video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you have any suggestions for future tutorials, make sure you do that too. Just leave a comment on the video below. I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a like. Let me know that you've watched it, and I hope you're having an amazing day. Cheers.